Watch Fox News subtly trash the Second Amendment. People ask how an old codger like me stays in shape. The fact is, 80% of being healthy is what you cram or don't cram into your pie hole. You've probably already heard of the ketogenic or keto diet. To sum it up, it's a high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb diet that forces your body to burn fat rather than the glucose or simple sugars that so many people are addicted to. The bottom line is, this kind of diet works. And I use Keto Elevate because it's specifically designed to help quickly and efficiently raise your ketone levels so you can reap the major benefits of the keto diet lifestyle. And guys, this isn't just an ad. This stuff really works. Use my link in the description, ketowithflix.com, and get 51% off while supplies last.
All right, guys, I want to show you this psychological operation coming out of Fox News. And remember, psychological operation is intended to influence people through propaganda, influence their emotions, their attitudes, and their behaviors. In this segment right here, where the Five is talking about, and the title of this video is "The Five Reacts to Biden Mocking the Second Amendment." And some of the things that they say is true, and other things are trashing the Second Amendment while they're claiming to speak for the Second Amendment. Check out this interaction between Geraldo Rivera and Jesse Waters.
So when Joe Biden says the F-15 thing, that's a straw man argument he got from Barack. Remember, Barack always said, what do you need a bazooka for? You do that because you're trying to make the other side look crazy. Right. You're crazy if you want to protect yourself.
What do you need a bazooka for?
No one needs a bazooka. That's the point. You just fell for the straw man argument, Geraldo.
Speak for yourself.
Did you hear it? Jesse Waters said, Geraldo, you just fell for the straw man argument. Jesse Waters actually responded to Geraldo Rivera's question, what do you need a bazooka for? You don't need a bazooka, or in the words of Joe Biden, you don't need an AR-15. Buy a shotgun. Jesse Waters says to Geraldo Rivera, you don't need a bazooka. That's the point. You fell for the straw man argument. Now Jesse Waters is actually asking the same question that Geraldo Rivera is. What do you need a bazooka for? Jesse Waters is going, you don't need a bazooka. In other words, Jesse Waters is asking the same thing. What do you need a bazooka for? When somebody is asking you what you need that bazooka for, why does anybody need an AR-15 or an AK-47 or 30-round magazine or a 100-round drum? Why do you think you need that? When they're asking that question, they're actually making a statement. Their statement is, you don't need that because I say you don't need that. Their assertion is, you don't have the right to own that because another man who happens to be a government agent says you don't have the right to own that. This isn't about needs. This isn't the Bill of Needs. This is the Bill of Rights. And you don't have the right to own that because the Second Amendment says it. You have the right to own whatever you want, whatever you can afford, whatever you can get by honest means. You have the right to own it. It's not about need. It's about you being a man who has the right to own something, and no other man has the right to tell you you don't have the right to own that. So when Geraldo Rivera asks, what do you need that for? They're basically saying, you don't have a right to own that, but the government has the right to own that. And they're also saying, if the government catches you owning that thing that we don't think that you have the right to own, then they have the right to aim their guns at you, their government-funded, tax cattle-funded guns at you to deprive you of that right. That's how convoluted this whole thing is. So what you have here is the Five. You'll hear this one girl go, speak for yourself. And that encapsulates, I'm going to back this up just a little bit. Well, as soon as I resume it, I think you're going to hear her say, speak for yourself. Because basically, Geraldo's saying you don't need a bazooka. Jesse Waters is saying you don't need a bazooka. And this woman actually says, speak for yourself. And I agree with what that woman says. But here you have Fox News, the Five, Geraldo Rivera, Jesse Waters saying that you don't have the right to own a bazooka. And that is absolutely not true according to the Second Amendment. Let me ask you, Is there a limitation on the Second Amendment? They want to make you sound crazy because you, as a free man, say that you have the right to own anything you want. They want to make you out to be crazy because you just believe what the Second Amendment says, because that corresponds with what natural law says. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. There's your need. Why do you need that? Because we need a free state. We need to repel invaders. We need to protect liberty. That's the greatest thing. Don't let anybody come near that precious jewel. Suspect anyone, Patrick Henry says. Anybody who would come near that precious jewel, suspect them. Guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect anyone who comes near that precious jewel. Nothing will preserve it but downright force. And when you give up that force, you are utterly ruined. Being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Does it say what arm you have the right to keep and bear? Nope. You know what that means? Sky's the limit. There is no limitation on the people's right to keep and bear arms. This is not difficult, guys. But listen to this further psychological operation right here.
They'll defund the police, trigger a crime wave, and they say, what do you need a gun for? Or they'll bail out deranged homicidal maniacs. Well, what do you need a gun for? The McCluskeys, they get a rifle. BLM comes to their hood, starts yelling at them. They get indicted by a Democrat. We need guns because we don't trust the criminals and we don't trust the government.
This is true. This is true. Everything he just now said was true. But he put a limitation on it because he's saying to Geraldo, you don't need a bazooka. So he's mixing true things with false things, conducting this psychological operation and manipulating the emotions, attitudes, and behaviors of the Fox News audience. And this is how people let go of their second. They're like, yeah, you're right. I don't need a bazooka. That's not the point. Your personal need is not the point. Your personal right is. So if you want to own a bazooka or an AK-47 or an F-15 if you can afford it, and you can park it in your front yard or whatever, you have the right to have anything the government has. Yes, even nukes, Joe Biden. Joe Biden threatening Americans with, well, we got F-15s and nukes. What are you going to do about it, big boy? Listen to the rest of this.
Necessarily in that order. That we rely on ourselves, and that's why the Democrats don't like that. We're self-reliant, and we don't rely on them.
The best thing about the McCloskeys, they had to turn in their guns. The moment they turned them in, they went and bought them.
They got a bigger one.
More. That's an American, Geraldo. I think the issue here is they can't identify the problem because that goes right back to the cause, which is their policies. Right?
Yeah, but the Second Amendment, as currently construed, and even people who love me get mad at me when I say it, is stupid. It's what Katie's position is one thing.
Yeah.
You know, African-American women buying pistols and so forth. But what do we need these heavy weapons
AR-15s.
for? But why do we need AR-15s for? You can't hunt with
Yes,
it.
you can.
I have hunted with one.
Say again. What do you need an AR-15 for? What do you need an AK-47 for? In other words, you don't have the right to own those because I say you don't need them. And if we and my buddies, the government, find out that you have those things that I say you don't need, then they have the right to hunt you down because I don't see any need for you to have that. In other words, when they say that kind of thing, they're actually endorsing what they would call gun violence. They want gun violence, these Geraldo Rivera types. They want government-funded, government-sanctioned gun violence, that's their term, to come upon you if you happen to possess the very thing that they say you don't need.
I don't know what you were hunting.
Biden told little rats in the river.
President Biden told the joke badly yesterday about the deer wearing Kevlar, and then he apparently forgot he had told the joke. He told the same joke about 2 minutes later.
He forgot?
But I mean, you don't need I think that these heavy weapons should have at least the same kind of requirements for qualifications as you do to drive a truck. At least have some instruction about what it is you're buying, what it is the potency.
There are more people killed every year by hands and fists and hammers than there are by AR-15s.
And also, this is not...
Yep, that's absolutely true. So what are you going to do? Ban hammers and fists and feet? Here's the deal. Geraldo Rivera just said it again. you don't have the right to have these. And if the government's going to allow you to have it, then you're going to have to get licensed by the government to actually possess it. Look at this. This thing has 5.9 thousand comments. I put a comment below this video, which is something I almost never do, and it actually got 53 likes. I said, people ask, why do you need a gun? My answer, why do you feel I owe you an explanation about anything I as a free man choose to possess? It's not the Bill of Needs, it's the Bill of Rights. What people are really saying when they ask, why do you need that gun, is, I don't think you have a right to own that gun. Only an evil or brainwashed person would want to infringe on the rights of another. I got 4 words for you: shall not be infringed. If you guys enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. And I really want to hear your comments on this video. Just like all videos, I try to read as many comments as possible, and I give them a thumbs up if they sound like they're in accordance with logic, reason, and basic human rights. Guys, I will see you in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.
While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.